It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Come on, crawl out of bed. Another day ahead.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah. We're almost to the end of the week.
Yeah, we are. It's my birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Did Brian know?
I don't think so.
Nobody knew? Snuck
Our
it
boss, Kevin, in D.C., wrote me earlier. Yeah.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, for that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
He's up?
We keep him up at night, quite frankly. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. But yeah, he's up for the wrong reasons. And thank you, Kevin. I replied.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
that's very nice.
Yeah. My wife made me a peach cobbler, and I tore through it already. It's the best in the world, and I'm sorry, but I didn't care if anybody else got any. I'm telling you, I probably ate more than half of that myself.
I got you the same thing I got you last year.
Nothing. Not a thing. That's good, though. Because I told my wife, I said, because she made it for me the other day, and we were off, and I said, well, but if you make one now, I mean, you're going to make one for me Thursday on my birthday. And then yesterday I was like, you know what? I probably have had enough of the sugar for a year. So thank you, and we're good. My birthday
You're getting closer.
Celebration.
You're getting closer to me.
Yeah. I'm 10 years behind you now. Yeah.
Is it 10 or 9?
10. Yeah, I'm 58 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You seem so much older.
I know. I feel much older. Seriously. You're 10 years older, and I'm thinking...
I feel like calling you sir.
10 years from now. 10 years? 10 years? No. Are you kidding me? Oh, my gosh. I have to put my peach cobbler in a blender. Which, by the way, I won't mind at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just one day at a time, One day at a time.
I have got picked out because of our picture. People have said, okay, well, that's you because you're older.
Yeah.
And they're not pointing at me.
Yeah, no, that's about right. Especially when I wear a beard. My beard is almost completely white.
Is it really?
Yeah, when I wear a goatee.
Did you have a goatee when I worked with you?
I've had one on and off throughout the years.
Okay, so in the last 18 and a half years, you've had one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The picture the night that we were, I think it's on our website, the night we were on C-SPAN, I had a goatee.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I actually got compliments on my goatee on C-SPAN. No other compliments at all. But, yeah, my beard is like white. It's white.
Yeah, I got the comment on my big head.
Yeah, well, there's that. The
Remember how close the camera was to my head?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. The camera was less than a foot from my
head. We
head.
have a tiny studio.
Yeah.
It's very tiny.
Very tiny studio, and the camera was right at my head.
We could be broadcasting from a smart car and have twice the room.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
an EV has more room than our studio.
And my buddies that I've known since grade school, that from Del Rio, that we all get together, and many of them, their hair is completely gray. And my hair isn't.
No, it isn't.
I have gray hair, but it's not. My mom asks me all the time, you color your hair? No, Mom, I don't color my hair. I don't. And
Your mother asked that?
yeah.
Wow.
You sure you don't color your hair? No, I don't color my hair.
See,
the guys would ask me that too. Yeah, you're coloring your hair, aren't you? No, I'm not coloring my hair.
See, I never got that from my mom. It was always focused on one thing.
Yeah.
Are you getting fat?
Oh, no, my mom did that. My mom was like, because we didn't get to see our parents, for a couple of years. And after COVID, I went to see my mom, and my mom was like, oof, you've gained, and she actually said that, oof, you've gained some weight.
Not just you've gained some weight,
It was
but
like, oof. And it was like, oof. Can I see some ID? And she said, you've gained some weight. And I said, well, Mom, it's COVID weight. She said, well, how much COVID did you eat?
COVID weight.
So when I
and
stopped
I just can't get it off.
Yeah, when I stopped crying, my dad and I had a nice conversation. But
Well,
yeah, that's what I get to. But it's
happy birthday.
well, thank you.
Everybody say happy birthday to Eric.
Yeah, thanks.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
Just another day.
We won't do the candles on the cake. It's a fire hazard, so it's actually against the law. We can't do that indoors. We can't have that many flames going at one time.
Would it be against the law here? Or could we could have a birthday cake out in the kitchen for you?
With one candle.
We're not going to, but
No. No, we're not.
We could if we wanted to,
Yeah.
right? Well, neither of us would eat the cake.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Neither of us would eat the cake. We go, okay.
I was doing so well over the Christmas break, I think. That's not true either, actually. I did eat a lot of chocolate. We didn't have the same. I bought the same amount of candy for the same kind of visitations that we normally have, and we didn't have that. So I was the hero. I stepped in to eat a lot of that chocolate, too. So,
Yeah,
I've done my damage on the sweets for the year.
Yeah, I overdid it Christmas, too.
Yeah.
And I'm now back on my normal, super low-carb diet, but I did cheat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will cheat once in a while. My doctor told me you got to cheat once in a while.
Well, and that's why, man, if there's anything that I want to have on my birthday, it's that peach cobbler that my wife makes, and it's so good, so good. And so I had to have that. I couldn't close out my year and be done with a holiday eating, without, having a little birthday peach cobbler. So that was good. And now I can get back to it, And, I think I've cleared out all the candy, though. That's the good news.
Well, now after all that, I feel too old to, continue and stuff.
I know.
I need to sound older.
Well, it's interesting. My wife and I were talking about financial planning things over the vacation. And I said, well, blah, 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 15 years. And she goes, you mean 6 or 7 years? I said, well, yeah, for that age that will be in 6 or 7 years. But I mean, also, the other stuff that we'll need 15 years from now, because it hit me. Oh, no, I was thinking 15 years out. It's like, because you and I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. I'm not looking at that 65 age and going, all right, there's the mark. You're clearly not doing that. You're behind the curve.
No, I was when I started on the show. I remember thinking to myself, okay, all right, now I've got this show and everything else. It's 65.
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever it is, 66 years and 2 months it was for me. That would have been my normal retirement age.
Mine's 67 and something.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
and I can't. I don't want to look at it and go, yeah, okay. Inside of 10 years now, I don't even. No, no.
No, and
that's not in my 10-year plan.
And I still don't. I still don't do that. Right. I remember when you and I signed our last contract, and I think the first question you asked me is after we signed that contract, you said, another 3 years after that?
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
I look at you, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I don't really have serious thought of it, but when I started the show, because I was 51.
Yeah.
No, I was 50.
Mm.
So I remember I celebrated my 50th birthday
Yeah.
on the show.
Okay.
And I was only here for a couple of months.
Wow.
And then by the time I moved into my house in early 2007, I was 51 and a half. So, but I remember thinking, yeah, another 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, because I took out a 15-year mortgage. So I'm like, mortgage will be paid off. I can retire.
Right.
And I was thinking, okay, I can golf every day.
Right.
And then I had these great plans that then I can go up and visit my family, my siblings, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I could have said my dad, because my dad's still alive.
Yeah.
Now. And then I'm going to stay up there for an extra month and ski. Go to the ski areas down there.
Yeah.
And all this. I can golf every day. Then you realize when you get to be this age, I can't do that anymore. I can golf. I can't go. Well, I'm because of my slightly torn meniscus, I haven't hit a golf ball in like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Right.
And probably won't pick a club up until March. So, but I even healthy, I can't do that every day. Right. I can ride the bike, I can swim, I can do resistance training, and then with all that I find to be the biggest pain in the butt, because I hate just working out for the sake of having to work out. It's like, well, what can I do with that? And it's golf is about it, but I wouldn't be able to ski.
Yeah.
If I skied once, I'd be sore for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I know, and it's because of the joints and everything else, but those are muscles you just don't use. So.
Right.
So it's like, why not keep working?
Well, for me, I mentioned it to you off the air earlier. This is actually better than a hobby. I mean, this is my hobby. This is my interest. This is, everything for me, in terms of, aside from family, this is it. World events and things that are going on, conversations about things that are going on, because it's, to me, we are reaching that critical point. It's always been important, but we are reaching that critical point. And I think that, right now it couldn't be a more interesting time to do what we do.
No. You and I talked about when Trump was elected and you had some so-called, quote, conservative talk show hosts quit because it was getting, remember that? It was in all the trade magazines.
Yeah.
These talk show hosts are quitting. They've had enough. It's gotten too loud, and the anger is like it's never been before, and it was time for me to get out of. You and I looked at each other and went, what the hell business did they think that they were in?
Right. Yeah.
This isn't, if you want to be liked, you could be a music DJ. Now, the people that hate the music you play.
Yeah, or go do a podcast or a YouTube channel or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go do what you want there. But you don't get into this because you wish to be loved.
No.
Now, there are people, you do get people that love what you do, but there are also people that really hate what you do. And so it's got to be more than just, I don't think you ever did this. I never did this for the celebrity part of it.
No.
In fact, an old girlfriend told me when I got this show and was on for a few years, she said, you got exactly what you wanted. I go, what? And she said, you've got tons of listeners and almost total anonymity. And I looked and I go, oh, my God, you do know me, don't you?
Well, our agent hates that, but it's actually true. And it's, and I started doing the radio thing when I was 18, right out of high school. I started at this job, going back to the old show, 1 month shy of my 31st birthday. So I was 30 years old, and it was, so many things have developed, and as issues developed, and then you get, fast forward to 2001, and then now you fast forward to 2024. Oh my gosh. I feel like, with so much going on, I feel like I'm just getting started. I feel like this is, every day is brand new because, oh my gosh, look at everything there is to talk about.
Well, there's two things. It's we are at a point where the problems that we face that we clearly face. Our biggest problems are domestic, and we've reached that point where the BS that we've been sold that will work has now hit up against reality.
Yeah.
And I don't want to miss the opportunity to be a part of analyzing that each and every day. And so when you say it's more than a hobby,
well, because I'll be
or
doing
this is
it
your
anyway.
hobby or more than a hobby. Yeah, I was the same with me.
Right.
I'd be sitting home. Yeah,
But I mean,
I'd become my buddy Jeff, Facebook ranting.
Well, that and you'll be ranting with people that aren't. Our audience loves this kind of conversation. If I'm sitting there, talking to my dog or my lovely wife or one of my kids, it's like all right, well, they love talking the issues. They do. But it's not the same thing when you get to actually vent and rant. You're not the old guy in the kitchen. Now, is he making a sandwich? How long does it take to make a sandwich?
You're the old guy on the radio.
Exactly. And that's it. I think it is the most interesting time to be part of the conversation because there's so much that is part of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's so insane right now. It's so critical. It's so insane, but there's so much humor in it.
Yeah.
Because there's humor in everything.
Yeah.
You and I both dabbled in stand-up
range.
comedy, so we know that comedy is based on reality, and
there's so much absurdity, and that's where comedy lives quite often.
Well, that's the point. It isn't that it's based on reality. The comedy is the reality and what's happening.
Right.
And we'll get to some of that coming up next. 866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
A unique period in USDA's crop progress reporting takes place in the winter months. State stories focused on specific winter crops and conditions. The first State Stories report of 2024 was issued Wednesday for the period closing at December's end. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says among the news of note from that report,
winter wheat conditions have generally improved across some of the real key hard red winter wheat production areas of the central and southern Great Plains. And we've also seen an erosion of the favorable conditions that we saw earlier across the lower Midwest due to drought conditions.
As for topsoil moisture condition ratings by state,
of states currently reporting topsoil moisture at least 40% very short to short, states in the Southwest, parts of the Great Plains, also several states in the Southeast.
Also included in State Stories, pasture and rangeland condition reports by some states. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up following the bottom of the hour, couple of things. First, part of Bidenomics going down the toilet, the giant offshore wind project that the Biden administration has promoted as this is Bidenomics canceled.
Yeah.
Why? Even with all the subsidies, it's offshore wind project. All the subsidies, they still can't make money on it.
They can't get it done.
Nope.
That's the problem that they're running into. Is that, back in the day, the abstract really was. Think about this, how much spending was in the abstract, because you're spending borrowed money, and you reach that point where you really don't have that luxury anymore. They're going to keep doing it to some extent, but not like they did in the past.
And then the other story, here's a headline. America's plan to replace gas guzzlers with electric vehicles was doomed from the start from a liberal publication. We'll get to that and more on the way.
Call in and get a word in edgewise. Eric Harley and Gary McNamara on Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. What was I looking at here before I get to the EVs and the whole climate change thing? Oh, here it is. Okay, I found
All right.
it.
What do you got?
So I saw this headline: trouble escalating for Democrats in blue states and sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
And it's an article in Politico. But that was the headline. They gave it in realclearpolitics.com. And the headline from Politico was, Blue States Open 2024 election year with migrant crisis escalating. New York City Mayor Eric Adams suggests local officials set limits on arrivals. Well, that isn't working too well for them here at the moment. But I just wanted to read this because it just got to me where I just shook my head going, what? New York City Mayor Eric Adams had advice Tuesday for fellow mayors experience an influx of migrants, set limits like he did. After Texas Governor Greg Abbott bust hundreds of migrants to transit stations in New Jersey suburbs over the weekend, an end run around Adams' restrictions on new arrivals, Democratic leaders in the Garden State were seriously considering the advice. The mayor of one of New Jersey's largest municipalities even said he arranged for a chartered bus to send migrants back to the southern border should more arrive in his town. Well, I guess my point would be, if they didn't want to go because they came there, how are you going to force them to go back?
Right. That's the things that Democrats are acting like this is the case, that you can just say, no, get on the bus, we're taking you here.
Right. That's not how it's done.
No.
And they're accusing Abbott of human trafficking.
Right.
By the way, that came up again yesterday.
Yeah,
it's human trafficking. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
You can offer anybody in this country, anybody who's in this country legally, anybody can offer them. I could offer you. I could say, Eric, I'm getting sick of you. You got to go to Buffalo, and I could give you a bus ticket to Buffalo.
Here's a bus ticket.
All right, I'd fly you in.
Here's two tickets to Pittsburgh.
I've got the miles. I'd fly into Buffalo. You can hang out with Dad. But it says, and halfway across the country in Chicago, which is set to host the Democratic National Convention this year, officials were scrambling to track asylum seekers after Abbott sent 350 to an airport 90 miles from a designated landing spot. His administration then bused the migrants to suburban towns, forcing them to find their own way to Chicago. The episode marked another pivotal moment in the national debate over migrant resettlement. Democrats are now confronting a deepening crisis at the dawn of a crucial election year, and the ongoing feud over border control could determine who serves in the White House and who controls Congress. Democrats around the country, from Adams to New York Governor Kathy Hochul to White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, accused Abbott of heartless brinkmanship. How? Define that.
Yeah.
The federal government is allowing people into the country.
Mm-hmm.
They are temporarily giving them legal status.
Yep.
If the state of Texas says, hey, would you like to go to any of these cities here? Yeah, sure. Here you go. And if the cities of Chicago and New York weren't trying to stop the migrants from coming in now, they would arrive at their destination.
Right.
Abbott has done nothing wrong.
Right.
In fact, the heartless brinkmanship comes from the sanctuary cities that for decades have said, we will take you, come here, and now you're turning your back on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says here, they said Abbott's moves to send chartered planes and buses of asylum seekers to far-flung communities outside New York City and Chicago were designed to sidestep rules requiring a coordinated effort to transport the new arrivals. What rules? They never state what the rules are.
Right.
Where are these rules? And he goes, Adams says, we're dealing with the bully right now, and everything is on the table that conforms with the law. The mayor said he hopes to pressure Abbott until he throws his hand, but he did not detail what that would entail.
Well,
Abbott didn't seem to care, proudly announcing on X the platform normally known as Twitter, that Texas had transported more than 95,000 migrants to northern cities, and more were on the way. Tell me what Abbott has done wrong. They can't. They throw out these accusations.
If they could have, it would have happened already.
Yes.
The media would have been on that. They tried to make it seem like it was unlawful. We're going to be talking to some of these migrants to see if they were forced, if they were coerced against their will and all that. Well, fact of the matter is they're getting on there voluntarily. They're given a free ride to their destination. There's nothing against the law. Nothing.
Yeah, and a lot of them are saying, look, when Adams came to our country and told us not to come there, we thought it must be really a great place. That's why they don't want us to come here.
Exactly.
So that's where we want to go.
Right.
It had the opposite effect. That was just...
I mean, they're at a point, though, they know. I really wonder what the talking points, I mean, the talking points clearly have been go after Abbott, make this Abbott's thing, and all his fault. But I really wonder if the party, if the Democratic Party is looking at these mayors and saying, look, you're going to have to fix this, especially in Chicago. Mayor Brandon is going to be hosting this summer the DNC. But New York City, the citizens there, the people in New York City, they're not happy with Mayor Adams at all over this whole thing because he can't turn this thing around. And he's not getting any help from the other Brandon. Biden's shut the door on him.
Yep.
So then you blame it on Texas. Well, the fact of the matter is that no law breaking is going on here. And if their response is, we're going to send people somewhere else, but okay, we can talk about whether you have the authority to do that, how you're going to do that, and we can have that, debate. But the fact of the matter is it still doesn't fall on the state of Texas or its governor.
No. It all starts because of what the Biden administration is doing.
Yep.
And normally what the left would say, oh, okay, you're offering them a free ticket to go where they wish to go in the United States. I don't know how that would be heartless. They haven't defined heartless in that case. The other thing is, too, Adams said that the city has processed more than 160,000 migrants since the spring of 2022.
Yeah.
Abbott's only sent 33,600 to New York.
Right.
The rest of the roughly 130,000 was the federal government.
Exactly.
Was the federal government
right.
shipping them to New York City.
Right.
Or them going on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But probably the most of it was the federal government. Is the federal government involved in heartless brinkmanship? I'm telling you, this has been a day where we've just torn apart every single argument. They don't have anything.
No, they have nothing. They have nothing.
It's just really poor. All right, a couple of other things. Global energy developers, is it Equinor, and BP on Wednesday announced that they are canceling the contract for a massive wind project slated for construction off the coast of New York. The two companies said they had reached an agreement with the state to terminate the offshore wind renewable energy certificate for their Empire Wind 2 project. They explained that commercial conditions, inflation, interest rates, supply chain disruptions prevented its contract prevented its contract for the project from remaining viable. Commercial viability is fundamental for ambitious projects of this size and scale, and we don't have it.
Yep.
And that, by the way, the Biden administration has been promoting that like crazy the success of Bidenomics.
Mm-hmm.
The other one story was, here it is, because this is from Business Insider. And you and I have noticed Business Insider, which is a liberal publication, have been putting some conservative articles in there. Or you would say maybe spin.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they have here from yesterday. America's plan to replace gas guzzlers with electric cars was doomed from the start. What? Electric vehicles were supposed to be inevitable 2 years ago. Biden climbed behind a wheel of a beefy white electric Hummer to tout his plan to make half of all new cars sold electric by 2030. The following year, Congress passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which created a bevy of incentives for drivers to buy electric and for automakers to invest in EVs. This set off a flurry of new projects, EV plants, battery manufacturing facilities, and mining operations. By the end of 2022, the situation looked more promising. More and more Americans were going electric, and soon everyone would be driving an EV, reducing emissions in the process. The transition to an all-EV future seemed like a slam dunk. It would not only give the government a highly visible way to show it's fighting the climate crisis, but boost the economy through new jobs and investment. But the electric vehicle takeover has hit some serious roadblocks.
Oh. Womp, womp.
And they go through the whole point that the no longer is a country on track to hit the government sales targets. By the way, we said all that they just claimed was, great marketing was all BS. We said it from the very beginning.
Of course. Well, you got to sell it first, right? And the only way to sell it is with a lie.
Well, and the companies, the one thing, and I know this is very tough for many on the left to understand, but if you can't make a profit, even with the subsidies, you can't continue to make that product. I know that's a tough thing, that they just make it, and it should work. Just do it. Just do it. Doesn't work that way. And they, go on to go through the industry. Analysts have pointed to several reasons of the slowdown.
Yeah.
Including insufficient charging infrastructure and a lack of affordable EV options with the subsidies.
Yeah.
But they're a symptom of a larger problem. Ready for this? America's EV plan was flawed from the start. Instead of seeing EVs as one piece of a plan for more sustainable transportation, America focused on using EVs as a one-to-one replacement for gas guzzlers. But this one-size-fits-all solution fails to address our broader transportation problems, meaning emissions targets are likely to be missed and other transportation problems will go unaddressed, which is exactly what we have been saying for the longest time, is it not?
No, I mean, this is exactly the scenario from the beginning, and which is why they're right at Business Insider. This was doomed from the beginning.
Yep. They're from the left, and they're simply saying what we have been saying from the beginning and have been severely criticized from the left for what we've been saying that now they admit is true. Like every other issue that exists out there right now that the American people care about.
Over and over again. Reality is hitting on pretty much every level.
866-90-RED-I.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-I on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Just quickly, the Epstein list came out yesterday. You really don't get anything from it. I mean, for Republicans or anybody who thought there was going to be, any type of slam dunk to show, whether it's, Clinton or whoever, that you had the irrefutable evidence of sexual crimes with minors.
Right.
That doesn't seem to be the case from what was released.
Yeah, so far that is not the case.
Right.
And, who knows what we will learn or what it will point investigators toward, in the future. I don't know. But we really so far haven't learned anything new, really. There's not much that you can point to and say, okay, this is proof of this.
Right.
So.
I mean, you do have the interesting hearsay.
Well, sure.
You'd hearsay that
Things that Epstein said that, about.
or somebody
Clinton
said,
or whatever.
or one of the victims. Yeah, one of the victims said Epstein said it about Clinton that he liked, young girls
Right.
out there.
Right.
Again, that's hearsay. It doesn't get you anywhere.
Right.
And Republicans aren't even going to hit that much because the Clintons aren't going to be part of the discussion over the next year.
No, they're not.
And that's why I think that, well, I don't know, but Clinton didn't object to any of it coming out.
No, that's true. He did not.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.